to me that gives you permission to separate your mouth shut when it's not appropriate. But I want to thank you for being a voice of reason on the air, because I hear a lot of rhetoric out there that to me I think of as hate speech. And although I believe that hate speech is protected under our First Amendment, people are allowed to say things, even if I find them truly abhorrent. But the time and place, it may be regulated. And our founding fathers felt that that was so important that they put that as the First Amendment, the very first right that we have. That is our freedom of speech. It was more important than guns to them.
And Beth, it's real easy to say, well, I don't like that speech. It should be banned. But there's speech that you want to participate in that somebody else is not going to like, and that also should be protected. So it's kind of myopic to just jump to this conclusion that hate speech is not protected by the First Amendment, because far more frightening than speech you don't like is the idea that you can't say something that somebody else doesn't like.
Right. And, even though, I certainly don't condone violence over what happened in Berkeley, but our words matter. And you can say things that are going to upset a lot of people, but there are consequences for those words. And that's sort of what happens in Berkeley. There has been so much rhetoric that has put people on edge that they are now reacting to that.
But I think the point is to talk about how, okay, look, as hateful as you think that speech might be, you really shouldn't act out violently, because you're ultimately denying First Amendment rights by making actions that cause them to have to cancel the speech.
Right, I agree. And I think they could have even had done that and still ended up with the same result through peaceful means. And I always believe that peaceful protests in the long run are a lot more effective. I think my biggest surprise of that story was that this gentleman coming to talk was being sponsored by the Republicans at Berkeley, and my first reaction was, they're Republicans at Berkeley?
Yeah, I know. That is kind of a shock. There's a Republican organization on the campus of Berkeley. You talk about being in the minority.
I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe there's 3 or 4 of them, I guess. And the other thing, I'm going to date myself, and then I'm going to hang up and just listen to you, but the little thing that goes in the middle of the 45 record,
yeah.
we called those frogs when I was little.
You called it a what?
So, like the animal frog.
You called it a frog? I mean, the little thing that you would put in the middle of the 45.
Right, to keep the record balanced while it was on the turntable.
Interesting. All right, Beth, I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon. If you want to join us with your thoughts and comments, you are always a very important part of our show every afternoon from 1 to 4. We talk about the stuff that's going on, but you get a chance to comment on it and share your opinions. Our number is 260-1870, area code 504-260-1870, and our text number is 870-870. It was on this day, February 2nd, 1981, that we were introduced to a new star from Scotland named Shana Easton. Her first single was released on this day, and it was this song, Morning Train, on this day in 1981. I met her once. I did an interview with her once, but I've learned that in recent years she's gotten to be a rather mean and ugly person. In fact, I heard stories about her at Family Growing, and none of the stories were very good. So, Shana, babe, you're cute. You got a couple of cute songs. Just relax and don't be mean. I'm Scoot. We'll be back on WWL. Now, another traffic update on the Big 870 WWL and WWL on FM at 105.3.
From the WWL Traffic Center, I'm Bob Frost. As you make your way off the Crescent City connection from the west bank to the east bank, going on the downslope of the bridge, and that opens up after Claiborne. Coming in from New Orleans East, approaching the Pontchartrain Expressway, slow downs back to St. Bernard. Headed out to the high-rise, slow and go traffic back around Esplanade. That opens up on the downslope of the bridge. problem-free on the 610 headed out to Metairie. However, on the I-10 in Metairie, slow-and-go traffic around Bonneville. Moving well on the causeway, same for the Bonnie Carey Spillway. Your I-310 moving well as you make your way from the I-310 bridge headed to the I-10, I-55 and I-12 all as well there. And moving well in the Slidell area around the 10-12-59 split. Traffic brought to you by Dr. Nancy Gerbell and Brain Core Therapy of Louisiana.
Hi, this is Scoot. If you or someone you love suffers with ADHD, migraines, or any other neurological problems, visit BrainCoreTherapyofLouisiana.com and learn how to change the way your brain works without medication. For a better life and a free consultation, visit BrainCoreTherapyofLouisiana.com.
Have a traffic tip, call WWL 504-260-INFO.
Show me free money! All week long, you can win $1,000 free money on WWL. Listen for the code word weekdays right before 7 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. Then text that word to 72881. Every weekday, 4 lucky listeners nationwide win $1,000. Listen weekdays right before 7, 11, 2, and 5. Take home free money. $1,000. $1,000 from Smart Radio, Intercom, and WWL. We never charge for text, but individual plan text and data rates apply.
In life, who do you trust more? The people who tell you what you want to hear, or the people who tell you what you need to hear? At Financial Engines, we believe the same is true for financial advisors. Who would you trust more? The one who tells you what you want to hear? Hey, don't worry about retirement, it'll all work out. Or what you need to hear? If you don't have a plan, you might be planning to fail. At Financial Engines, we believe that everyone deserves to achieve their financial goals. And now that the Mutual Fund Store and Financial Engines have joined forces, our advisors are more equipped than ever to help you create a comprehensive financial plan for your future. Right now, for a limited time, get a free portfolio review from an experienced local advisor when you visit financialengines.com or call today.
This is Peggy Murphy with Financial Engines in the New Orleans area. Let's talk about financial goals that are important to you, and together we will develop a plan to help make them happen. Call me at 504-830-7676 or visit financialengines.com.
Hey, not attorney spokesperson. Anna Pulaski at the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas, is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention! If you or a loved one suffered serious complications from abdominal hernia surgery, you may be entitled to a significant cash award. Call 800-513-8671. If you had abdominal hernia surgery between October 2010 and June 2016 and suffered serious complications, PhysioMesh may be to blame. Please call now if you or a loved one has had abdominal hernia surgery. You may be entitled to a cash award and compensation. Time is limited. If you or a loved one's life has been affected by complications, pain, or more surgeries after an abdominal hernia surgery performed between October 2010 and June 2016, you may be entitled to a cash award and compensation. Call 800-513-8671 now. Call 800-513-8671. Our toll-free lines are open 24/7. Call 800-513-8671. That's 800-513-8671. 800-513-8671.
You know how the weather is around here. One day it's hot and you're running your air conditioner. The next day it's cold and you need the heater on. So if your AC or heating system isn't doing the job right, you better do what so many other homeowners do. Call Keith's for fast relief. And as always, we'll get you comfortable in 3 hours or less. Guaranteed. Attention parents, the Jefferson Performing Arts Society is holding auditions for the kids' theater production of Guys and Dolls Jr. Auditions will be held February 4th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the beautiful JPAS studio at 5005 Bloomfield across from Elmwood. Get your kids ready for this great production that'll take place in April. Again, auditions for the JPAS production of Guys and Dolls Jr. will be held February 4th. All children ages 7 to 12 are welcome to audition. Log on to jpas.org/guysandolls or contact Lynn Bordelon at 504-85-2000 extension 213 to sign up. Back to Scoot on WWL. Call 504-260-1870. Text 870-870 or tweet at Scoot WWL.
Moving up moving out.
There's a controversy at the American Can Company apartment complex because, you know, they were offering, if you made under a certain amount of money, they were offering special rents. And that is something that is very common in downtown New Orleans and in many of the new developments. If you make under a certain amount of money, you get a rent break. Sometimes it's just ridiculously low. Sometimes it's close, but it's different. But there are people who have to pay full rent. There are others in the same facility, the same building, that have to pay, well, they get to pay less rent. So the rent is going up because that stipulation is coming to an end, and it was probably part of some federal bill that was part of the deal to get the loans to renovate the American Can Company. So it's all a complicated part of that, and I'm not an expert in that area, so I'm not even going to try to pretend to explain it. But there are deals that are made that if the government lends you this money, then you have to provide this. And so there's a debate now, and we'll talk about this on the show tomorrow afternoon. There's a debate now about whether or not the people should be allowed to stay there. And one resident was on the news on Channel 4 earlier, and she was saying that she was upset because she might have to move out of mid-city because she can't afford the rent any longer. And it made me think about the real question, are we entitled to live anywhere in the city we want to live? I mean, living in mid-city, that's a very coveted area to live in. Not everybody can afford to live in mid-city. So does the city actually have a responsibility to bring affordable housing to every part of the city? Downtown New Orleans, mid-city, Lakeview, anywhere. We'll talk about that on the show tomorrow afternoon. Also, we're talking about cell phones. There was a school that put up a sign that told parents to get off your phone because this is not the opportunity to miss. You've got a great chance to talk to your kids. And here's a text that says, St. Christopher School in Metairie has signs up when you sign your kids out, when you pick them up, saying no phone use while picking your kids up. That's a good idea. We shouldn't have to have a sign to tell you to do that because you shouldn't really have the phone should not be the focus of your attention. And I realize that there may be phone calls that you have to take, but it happens too often, and I've seen it personally, where people are on a cell phone and they ignore their kids, and their kids are seeing them for the first time after being dropped off at school, and they Mommy, Mommy, Daddy, Daddy, and the parents aren't paying any attention.